So, got this Kaiser here, and I bought this on the secondary market. This is a Velox 2 S35VN titanium handle. And, I can't spin that because I changed my little cover here and it's not slick no more, but that's all right. Maybe time for some traditions to die, right? But I've had my eye on this one for a while because of the shape and the overall look of it. Looks like everything's intact here. Yeah, the cleaning cloth's in there. Okay, case. And there she is. Ooh. Got the Kaiser bag, and it looks like 2 spare screws, but they're not even the right screws. Pocket clip screws. Okay. No body screws, no body hardware, but it's got a couple of pocket screws in there. All right, let's get rid of this stuff here. So there's something about this piece that, as I'm looking around, I'm looking at this shape, this overall profile of this knife, and I got harkened for it. I was like, man, I gotta find me one of those. It's got the designer there on the blade, the spine, Vagnino. So let's look at the condition of this thing. It's been carried a little bit. You can see some snail traily stuff going on there. Let's get my other light going. There we go. The pocket clip's got a little whoops right there. But I did get a really good deal on the knife, and of course, let's get this out of there. Oh, is that weird? It's not affording itself for this kind of action at all. So interesting. All right, not horrible. Let's look at what we got for a blade here. It's in S35VN. I'm going to say not a factory edge, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't think that's factory, but it could be. Maybe. Ooh, that's stiff. Yeah, that's not running very well. That's awkward, and the action on this it's janky, like it's gritty. So I don't think I'm going to prove much here, but I can tell you that the way that this is flipping right here, I'm not a fan. The knife is supremely refined, like very smooth surface, and so it's super smooth, and in order to flip this properly, it's creating a weird ergonomic. Just the nature of this push button. Let's get in it. I'm freaking out. I'm going to be cautious though getting in this, because I hope we don't have any issues here. Yeah, so that's spinning. Let me try this side real quick. Yeah, everything's turning. Okay, well, I'm not scared. I spent my good money on it, and by goodness, I'm getting in it. I think I want to go here, put a little more height on there. See if we can't get it loose first. Yep, there it goes. But I think I need to be turning this other side, because this is the actual pivot, and that's the screw on the other side. It did come loose, so I'm definitely encouraged, but I don't like that blade sticking out of there either. Let's do away with that before I go causing damage to myself. Let's try it like this. A little more leverage. There we go. Come on out of there. Yeah, it's got a fair piece of Loctite on it. Alright, let's get that blade out of there. Get that tension off of that. And I mean, we're backwards, so we'll rectify that. I think I'm going to try to take these two, because these are the ones that ultimately I would want out from this side. This would be the side that I would reassemble from. Okay. Now, hopefully I can get it to pop free and not have to take those other barrel screws out. That's my hope. If I can get this pivot out, I'm probably good. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, everything's really dry and not maintenanced in here. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any necessarily issues here, but it's definitely dry, has not been maintained. And so hopefully a little maintenance, we can get this thing running like a Swiss watch. Yeah, let's get to it. And as I tend to do with used knives, I'm going to put a little solvent to this knife. A little ethanol that I use for solvent. It evaporates quick and it eats grime and petroleum like oils and grease and just eats it up, and then it dries almost without a film. You know, sometimes I can find a little film, but I can see that it is stripping all of this, whatever's all over this knife. It's just taking it right off. I like it. And the truth is, I mean, I've revealed this a few times, but if you look in the ingredients, you'll see why I use it, but I just use this right here. It's what percent? It's the vast majority of it is ethanol by a long shot. It's 58% ethanol. So, yeah. And it's amazing for this type of cleaning, what I'm trying to do here with grime and greases and oils. Yeah, it does a wonderful job. Let me get that out of there. There it comes. So the detent on this is really strong. I think I'm just going to get after it right out of the gate. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm going to do my thing with it. And then it will be interesting if I can put this in from the other side. I think I can, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes just the way that the build is, it won't allow that to go in from the other side. These are really nice, really large bearings. I mean, that is a good, thick, quality bearing. And they're large. I mean, legit. These racetrack washers. I mean, this is good stuff in here. The interesting thing is it wasn't represented by the way the knife was running at all. I mean, it wasn't running good at all. not fun in the hand. So this is one of those that it's kind of exciting to see if I can make it run as nice as I think the knife looks. You know what I mean? Like just the ergonomics, the way the profile of the knife is pretty impressive to me. And so I hope with a little bit of tuning, I can make the action kind of match up to my vision for this knife. I hope I can. That had good tension on it. Yeah, that one too. Makes me feel good about putting it back together. It's going to hold nice. There we go. All right, let's get my bearings. Where am I at? Looks like we're just at the very edge right there. So I'm not going to take much out of it. And this titanium is actually, it bends pretty easy. And I didn't say anything about it, but I did look at the lockup on the back of the blade, and it was pretty substantial, almost 50%. I should have mentioned that and really kind of zoomed in and took a good look at it. But we're going to start with where I'm at here, and you know, a lot of times I don't show it in the video, but man, I may have to go back 4 or 5 times on making these adjustments and tuning the knife to get it, I mean, just right. If I'm going to do it, I'm not, you know, like I may show it in the video, but to like just really tune it in, I may go back at it 3, 4 more times to get it just right. If I'm going to mess with it, why not? Why wouldn't I really, you know, press in and get it perfect? So this is going to be the question. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Sometimes it won't allow it to come in from the other side. But it did. I just got to look at, where is it? Oh, it's, you know what? It's not locked up anyway, so it doesn't matter where I come from. Yeah, it's silly. Goofball. Come on, man. Pay attention. There we go. There. I mean, just this right here, a little bit of lube. Clean it up, lube it a little bit. This thing's going to run a lot better. But nice racetrack for that pivot pin. I like that. Or for a stop pin. I call it a pivot pin for the stop pin. Nonsense. Talking nonsense, man. Why are you talking that nonsense? Fool. All right. So I don't think any videos have dropped with this black backdrop. I think I've only filmed 1 or 2. So, I mean, throw me a comment. Let me know what you think. I mean, would you rather see the green grid or this black? I will tell you, it's fabric. So, because the reflection, man, anything that reflects makes it almost impossible to video on top of. So it's fabric, but I don't know about the fabric. I may try to find like a flat black something to use instead, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, in the end, I don't know that I really have a preference. I'm just trying to do what's right. What did I do there? What happened? I'm gonna have to use 2 screwdrivers to get that, because it's spinning and I can't hold it. Needs a little more. I probably should get on the right side of that. That's the hold. No, it ain't neither. Yeah, that's right. Come on, man. That's the hold. This is the turn. Oh man, it's 1,000,000% better. But, and there's a ton of lock up there, about 40% still. But it's got a little rock in it. So is that, yeah, it's not up and down, thank goodness. It's side to side, so I can tighten that up with that pivot and get that out of there. So let's do that. Let's just get it done and get that thing solid without any play in it. You know what? Let me hold that thought. Let's get these in there first. Because adding these back in changes the geometry of the knife, how everything's fitting together. So let's get these in, and then I'll finalize that pivot. Kind of putting a proper order on things. Yeah, it's got just the tiniest little tick of a rock in there. But man, it's almost dropped shut now. And it's definitely easier to operate. So without that tuning on there and messing with that detent, this thing was not a picnic. It was no fun. But before I go finalizing that, yeah, I was confident I wasn't going to have an issue there, and we're centered. Yeah, everything's lining up, but let me finish that now. Let's get that play out of it. And I know I can because it didn't have any play to begin with, so. Oh yeah, I got about 1/4 of a turn out of that. Yeah, it's better, but man, there's still a little bitty tick in there. Just the tiniest little tick, tick, tick. Yeah, completely free. It's just a detent, which, kind of maybe starts to beg the question if I shouldn't take a little more out of that detent, but I want to get this play out of it first. There we go. Okay. So yeah, now the question is, should I take just the tiniest little bit out of that detent? I can fail it. Big time I can fail it. I think there's a little bit that I could take out of that steel and see how that action works. Because, it's not great. Yeah, that's not great at all. I'm going to try, but I'm not going to bore you all with it. You know, you saw what I did the first time, so I'll be right back. I mean, the beauty of that pause button is, I mean, I could go get a sandwich. I could drink a cold beer. You know, I could, I could do a lot of stuff. Come back and tell y'all it's like a split second, right? All right. So that part's good. And then it's just shy of drop shut, but I've got it nice and tight so there's no rock in it, and it's running like $1,000,000 now. Now, can I fail it? Yeah, definitely I can fail it. I say that, but that was pretty good. Yeah, I can fail it. But, I mean, to me, that's where this knife should be tuned. And, I mean, we'll whack it, but it's plenty locked up. It's about 30% still, maybe 40% on that lockup. So it's nice and tight still, but that action's running really well. I do notice some crud on the back of this blade, and I'm going to clean that up real quick. I just feel like there's something here on this blade that I didn't get. I don't know. OCD, man. I see something that drives me nuts. Nice stonewash finish. There we go. All right, so we're looking good and we're running good. So let's talk about that action. I mean, even with it tuned up now, I'm gonna have to say it's a B. It's not great action. I mean, it's kind of flying around now, and that's definitely functional. When I first got it, that detent being so tight, the nature of this jimping here, it's sort of polished. I mean, it's kind of grippy, so there, there's something going on there. But man, it's uh, it's not great. Yeah, B, maybe a B minus. It does not have great action, and I don't think there's anything more I can do for it that's going to improve that. I mean, can I make it run? Mm-hmm. Will it improve with time? Maybe. Possible. But it's centered and it's running, and I mean, it's a B. Ergonomics. So I mentioned this before, but this knife is amazingly refined. Super, super soft in the hand, comfortable. I mean, this thing feels wonderful in hand. As far as not very confident, confident, and very confident, this thing's going to be below the confident scale. This thing's down towards not very confident at all. And the reason being, it's so slick, and then there's not much in the way to hold you into this knife. So if I was to meet forward resistance, so to me, I mean, it's an okay pocket knife, but it's probably not for me, because when I carry a pocket knife, I've talked about this before, I consider myself armed with a deadly weapon, and for self-defense purposes. Well, I don't really see this knife that way. Is every knife I carry in that category? No. But I also carry other forms of self-defense. I arm myself in other ways. So would I ever consider this my primary weapon? I wouldn't. Just because of the grip. I mean, the nature of it, the action, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it's super dependable. I mean, it didn't take much for me to get it out of there now. I mean, the action's running a lot better now that I've tuned it up. The other thing that's in this knife is the tendency to lock yourself out of it. So I think if I stay off of that lock bar, it doesn't take much at all for that to come around, to get out of there. mean, it actually runs pretty darn good if I stay off the lock bar, open and closed. Because even closing it, like, it's easy to affect it by grabbing that lock, the frame. So if I stay off the frame, I mean, it's pretty good action. Pocket clip. I mean, it's got a ton of tension and it runs on that thick stuff. Runs really well. Even if it folds it over, it's got plenty of room in there, and it's got a good grip. It's in there, it's holding on. I mean, decent tension there, and then my spot in the back pocket's pretty good. There's not a lot to grab onto to get it out. Although I will say, just pinching the pocket grip allows you to snatch that out of there. So, I mean, the pocket clip's pretty good. Check it for safety. So I can contact the blade right there. Now it's right on the very edge of that, and so I don't think I'm going to fail that. I don't even know if that part of the blade is sharp. I mean, I would think it is, but can't catch it anywhere else, and that tip's buried in there. So the tip's good. I'll say this backspace is good, and the clip is a pass. Lots of tension on that clip. It's pretty nice. Yeah, so I wonder if that blade is sharp, and it's suspect to me because I mean, part of me says it's been sharpened. I mean, it's pretty sharp. I'm going to strop it. Let's hit it. I mean, now that I'm looking at this angle with my strop, I mean, I can't tell if it's been sharpened or not. I don't know. I mean, all in all, the knife's representing pretty well visually and functionally. I mean, I really don't see anything that says this knife's been carried or cut or run through the mill. It's just the edge is a little suspect to me because the bevel is wider at the front there than in the recurve portion, because it's got like a recurve and then that fat belly and then like a drop point. But this part of the bevel, the sharpening bevel, is fatter than it is back here. But that's natural because it's definitely going to be thinner here than here. The other thing is, now that I'm looking at it, is I think it's a hollow ground blade. Yeah, it's got a hollow grind on it. So, interesting. Pretty nice. I mean, it's definitely better from a strop. You know, I think if I spent a little more time on it, I could probably get this thing sweet sharp. Just needs a little attention. It does have a pretty low angle on that blade. It's pretty low for me to get flat and flush. I'm down there quite a bit, and I have been experimenting personally with reprofiling on my machine below 15 degrees, and the results that are coming out of that are, I mean, the level of sharpness is, I mean, stupid good. Now, am I making certain steels brittle? Are they going to retain an edge less? You know, the duration. I don't know. I don't really test for that stuff, because if I go use this knife, you know, today, and I cut a bunch of stuff with it, I mean, I'll bring it in here and set it here on this bench. It'll sit right there, or right here, truthfully. And then when I got a minute, I'll sharpen it, you know. So, and I'll put another knife in my pocket while I do that. Now, I know not everybody can afford to do that. When I say afford, I don't necessarily mean financially. I just mean, you know, they carry the same knife every day. They don't have multiple knives. See, I think I see something right there. Hold on. Okay. I drug it across a piece of wood a couple of times and stropped it a little more. So let's see. Yeah, I think we're there now. Yeah. Pretty sticky. Yeah. All right. Well, so price and availability. I don't think the availability is going to be very good on it, but let me take a look. Okay. Well, I mean, I scanned DHgate and AliExpress, and I mean, I looked everywhere I could look for this, and I found one used one like this, exact same model on eBay, and they're asking $120 for it. Now, I don't know. Can you get it for less than that? I mean, that's the thing about eBay. Who knows? I don't think it has a make an offer button, so maybe they're firm. But I got this one for quite a bit less than that, 120 bucks. I mean, final thoughts on it. I'll tell you, here's kind of what's going on, is I have been chasing down some of these old Kizers, and I've got some videos coming with some of these. One of them even has washers in it. So I've kind of been chasing down these old Kizers and throwing them in the collection. I mean, great materials, S35VN, titanium, and I mean, I can get into some of these old ones for, you know, a fair piece under $100. Now, some of them, they want a fortune for. There's a couple I'm looking for that, I mean, I may pay upwards of well over $150 for. And there's a couple models that I think I'd be willing to do that for, that I just really would like to get into my collection. This one, I'm probably going to put it on the block, only because I'm not a big fan. Like, these aren't Tucson's. If I buy a Tucson, even if it's not really my cup of tea, it's going in the collection. It's going in the case, and it'll take a slot. These Kizers, if I'm feeling it, I keep them. If I don't feel it, they're going to move down a road and make room for something else, and this one's most likely going to end there. I think I have it tuned well. The action's good, and maybe one of y'all's cup of tea. It's just not necessarily mine. I tell you, comfortable in the hand. This thing, man, is it comfortable, but it's not going to serve the action. Doesn't bother me so much. I've got knives that the action's right on par that I really like a lot. I think the main thing is this grip being down here at not confident. It's just so slick and so comfy, and just the size of it, the way it holds. I mean, I just don't feel confident with the grip on this thing. But, I mean, yeah, so there it is. The Velox 2 KIZER S35VN full titanium, and I'm pretty sure that hardware, it's anodized, but I think the head, like that's titanium, and I believe the heads of these are titanium, but the actual body of the pivot and the screw are steel. But then everything else is titanium except for those little screws and the steel insert. I mean, even these screws right here, these screws are titanium. But these screws are probably titanium as well. It's the insert behind that's picking up the magnet. So anyways, KIZER Velox 2, it's an older model. And you'll probably see it on the sale list if you're looking for one. You can hit me up too. I mean, send me a message and let's talk turkey. You know, what are you willing to give me for it? Anyways, Velox 2. Appreciate you watching.